They want the dollar gold market to exist because they get the free ride. The dollar has to do all the dirty work in the gold space, and BRICS get the free ride. This is not the petro yuan. This is not the petro ruble. This is not a gold-backed yuan. This is not a gold standard. This is not the end of the US dollar. It's not the end of the euro. It's not the end of the world. It's not any of those things, but that's what everyone's running around on websites or whatever shouting about. It's none of those things. In fact, quite the opposite. And this is where the Russian mentality comes in. The BRICS want the dollar to be around. They want the dollar gold market to exist because they get the free ride. The dollar has to do all the dirty work in the gold space, and BRICS get the free ride by declaring one BRIC equal to a weight of gold. Again, weight's the key.
The recent gathering at the Johannesburg BRIC Summit, which took place a fortnight ago, saw the participation of leaders and delegates from over 60 nations. Among the attendees, 6 nations were formally extended invitations to join the bloc: Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. They are poised to become part of the founding members, which include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Despite these nations' susceptibility to the impact of the dollar due to their reliance on it, there is no alternative at present. The dollar continues to maintain its dominance in global trade, accounting for 90% of foreign exchange transactions. Jim Rickards, the renowned author of the best-selling book, Currency Wars: The Making of the Next Global Crisis, offers insights to dispel certain misconceptions about the BRICS' role in the worldwide financial system. Contrary to the notion that the BRIC nations aim to undermine the US dollar, they actually desire a strong dollar and a thriving gold market. This preference is rooted in their advantage derived from the dollar's position as the primary reserve currency, as it plays a pivotal role in the gold market. Although the dollar's share in the global currency landscape has decreased from 66% to 58% over the past 2 decades, its status as the primary reserve currency remains unwavering. Rickards highlights that the BRICs are essentially taking advantage of the existing dollar-based gold system without committing to purchasing vast quantities of gold or pegging their currencies to gold. Instead, they anchor their currency's value to the weight of gold and allow the dollar gold market to dictate its course. This approach allows the BRICs to enjoy the benefits of a gold-backed currency without the intricacies and expenses associated with maintaining such a system. Now, let's share excerpts from Jim Rickards' conversation with Ethan. But before we do, if you want more content like this, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for future updates. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the video.
The value of the BRIC is not determined with reference to any other currency. It's determined with reference to gold by weight of gold. Now, and I don't know the weight, they'll pick one, but again, it doesn't matter because it's not even, it's math, it's logic. And by the way, now we're back to Aristotle's transitive law. And this is the key. This unlocks the whole thing, because Aristotle said, you know, if A equals B equals C, then A equals C. The B can drop out. It's not even arithmetic. It's logic. It's called the transitive law. I'm certain that Aristotle invented it. If any Greek scholars know an earlier source, let me know. So what the BRICS have done is they have dodged the biggest bullet, the thing that caused Bretton Woods ultimately to fail, the thing that potentially stands in the way of all this. They've defined their currency by weight of gold. Now, a weight of gold has a dollar value, right? So A equals B equals C. 1 BRIC equals 1, could be an ounce or a kilo, doesn't matter. Call it an ounce. 1 BRIC equals 1 ounce of gold equals today, 1970, okay? Well, through the transitive law, drop out the B, and 1 BRIC equals 1970, $1,970. But that's constant. I mean, that logic works for a moment in time, but it's not fixed, because the price of gold is going to fluctuate daily or minute by minute, right? So what's going to happen is the dollar gold, call it exchange rate, the dollar price of gold. So the LBMA, the COMEX, the London Metals Exchange, you know, JP Morgan unallocated forward contracts, the whole huge gold market in dollars is still going to exist. The BRICS want the dollar to be around. They want the dollar gold market to exist because they get the free ride. The dollar has to do all the dirty work in the gold space, and BRICS get the free ride by declaring one BRIC equal to a weight of gold. Again, weight's the key. They just let the dollar gold market go wherever it goes, and the BRIC is worth an ounce or whatever, kilo, whatever. And yeah, the dollar equivalent under the transitive law changes, but they're not pegged to the dollar. They're not fighting that fight. So this, I analogize this. It's like you're in your house in the backyard, you know, your landscaper is like digging trenches and putting in plants and sweating and doing all this work. And you're sitting there with a glass of iced tea, enjoying the view. In other words, the BRICS get to free ride on the dollar gold system, and they want that system. They don't want it to go away because they get the benefit of a gold value. Now think of what the BRICS don't have to do in this scenario. They don't have to buy gold. They don't even have to own gold. They do, but no one in the world has enough gold to back a currency. This currency, the BRIC, will not be redeemable into gold. Now, maybe there's a dealer somewhere who will take it. That's between you and the dealer. But it's not like you're going to be able to march down to the People's Bank of China with a pile of bricks and say, give me the gold. They're not going to do it. So it's not redeemable. They're not going to make a market. They're not going to maintain a value because they don't have to, because it's by weight. They just get to sit back and piggyback on the dollar gold system and let the dollar do all the dirty work.
Rickards underscores the critical role played by the Federal Reserve as the ultimate purchaser of treasuries. An intermediate buyer in this process is the U.S. banking system, which has evolved considerably since the 1950s when a substantial portion of large banks' balance sheets was comprised of treasuries. The U.S. government holds sway over these banks and is likely to engage in bond purchases. This group of intermediate buyers could serve as a buffer before the Federal Reserve expands its balance sheet, especially during a reset when acquiring perceived safe treasuries becomes more enticing than extending loans. Furthermore, Rickards discusses the Chinese approach, where commercial banks in China are actively selling dollars to bolster the yuan. Notably, China's major state-owned banks have been observed selling U.S. dollars to acquire yuan in both onshore and offshore spot foreign exchange markets in recent weeks. This move is aimed at slowing the depreciation of the yuan, which has weakened by approximately 2.4% against the dollar this month and 6% since the beginning of the year.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe for our channel.